Shaukat. Wanted to talk to you about these days General Assemblies on, a lot of social events are happening, and I hear you talking so much about the relevance of the UN. People ask you about how ineffective it has become, that it really it should close down. So what do you have to say about that? People keep asking me, and I sort of say all kinds of things, but I don't know what is the real answer to what the UN is doing. Tell me.
The world is in a turmoil, and naturally people are anxious about it, and they want to know what is happening. And they have pinned their hopes on the UN, and they see things are not being resolved. There is conflict and chaos throughout the world. So naturally one thinks that UN is there to resolve everything, and why is it not doing it? So the thing to say is that UN is multidimensional, that it not only deals with peace and security and political issues, but it also deals with everything else, including environment, including famine, including feeding the world, poor populations, etc. For example, it feeds 70 million people every year.
How does it do that?
It raises money and uses that money to reach out to these people. It's not very easy to do that. So UN has these arms, it has these organizations which do those particular things. So, for example, the Postal Union is also part of the UN, and that is how mail goes across the globe. Or ICAO, which regulates flight patterns, or the FAO that deals with food, or WFP that deals with food. So there are so many parts of the UN, health, etc., etc. So those sectors are doing as well as they could do, given the amount of resources and the negative pressure that comes from many governments. On the political side, the problem is that the Charter of the UN doesn't make the UN the policeman of the world. It doesn't give them the authority. It doesn't give it the resources. So it is upon the will of the political will of countries.
So it's just a platform for everybody to come here and talk. And then what happens is not the UN's responsibility.
No, it's not like that. It's a platform which enables governments to come and do. The problem is that the governments are the principal violator of the UN Charter. If one country invades another country, it is against the Charter, but UN can't do anything about it. The UN doesn't have the force to forbid it. So these conflicts are almost all conflicts in the world are due to the violation of the principles of the UN Charter. That is how aggression takes place. And now how much leverage does the Secretary General have to resolve them if these governments refuse? He doesn't have that authority. That authority is also with member states via the Security Council.
Who are the member states?
Member states are whoever is in the Security Council, 10 members which are elected for 2 years, and 5 members which have the right
the
to
permanent.
cast. Permanent 5 who have the ability to
Which are the permanent 5?
So you have China, France, UK, USA, and Russia.
So they have the vetoing right.
They have 5 of them have the veto right. So if it goes, and since they are involved in all conflicts, they are one side of the picture or the other, and so they can cast a veto to block the process. So this is a global geopolitics, and the UN is the best hope. UN keeps on trying, and in many cases, if you look at the process of end of colonization, it was UN that was able to deliver independence to so many countries. Namibia, for example, made a case where UN managed Namibia and then gave it independence. Same thing with East Timor. Now it's not able to do something in Kashmir because the two governments involved, India and Pakistan, refuse to budge from their point of views. So it is important for nations themselves to be willing to move towards peace. Only then UN can help them resolve the crisis.
So I hear everybody asking you about Gaza. I mean, that is the current anxiety that people have.
Yes.
So what do you have to say about that?
I mean, Gaza, the Americans are a player in Gaza, and they are the ones who have managed the Gaza agenda portfolio for the last 40 years. They've kept UN out of it. And if the matter is raised in the Security Council by the Palestinian delegation and other Arab countries,
Which they are doing.
Which they do, again and again. Americans veto it. Now, who is going to fix the Americans? You tell me. So,
The superpower.
This is a dilemma in which we are caught. US vetoes when it comes to Russia will veto when it comes to Ukraine. So these big powers with veto power that they have, they block any progress on the political side.
So this is your basic answer.
No, but, my basic answer is that you have to understand the limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then some talk about waste of money. What money? Take the case of Pakistan. Every member has to contribute, assessed budget contribution to the budget of the UN.
Where does the money come from to run the UN?
From member states.
So they're all paying. So they're all members of the...
You have to be a member, you have to pay.
Yeah.
USA pays 22% of the budget. China pays 21%. You see, that's how the whole budget
So the big fives pay the most.
No, I mean, Japan, for example, pays. Japan is not the big five. So it depends upon, there is a system by which these contributions are assessed. Pakistan is a member of...
But does it depend on how rich the country is? Like Japan is so rich. So does that determine...
Size of population, size of international trade, per capita income, all these factors go into...
how much they're going to pay.
Pakistan is supposed to pay 0.01%, and we don't pay it. We don't pay it because every Pakistani who works for the UN, his 1/3 of his salary is cut and taken as tax and given to Pakistan. It's a book entry. So in the end, whatever we contribute, for example, when I worked for the UN, it was the same thing. 1/3 of my salary was taken. So Pakistan doesn't have to pay any money. I pay for Pakistan. So it is also exaggerated. I mean, how much UN? $3 billion.
No, people think it's their taxpayers' money that comes in here. But the countries who are paying the membership, they constantly ask me, the taxpayers' money going down the drain.
Taxpayer are the Americans. They call about tax paying, etc.
But what about the other countries? They also...
I just told you the Pakistan.
No, Pakistan is one, but most countries who pay, they pay from where? From the tax.
Every country has to pay from its own revenue,
right.
Which is revenue comes from taxation.
Right.
So they do. Americans can claim...
So that's why they feel their resentment. That's from our taxpayers' money.
I don't know how to answer it because it is taxpayers' money which is spent in wars. The wars they are waging, they are the same countries. And they begrudge, let's say $600 million a year. For America, it's absolutely nothing. As they say that the UN budget is less than the New York Fire Department's budget, okay? So for an economy of this size, to pay so much money is nothing. And that is taxpayers, that is put on taxpayers. Everything else you do is okay. You can go and invade countries, you can do anything. That is all that conflict goes on is taxpayers' money.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope this answers to some people.
Yeah. I mean,
Some will agree, some won't, but anyway, it's a personal thing.
yeah, but I think the point is a larger point. There is no other institution or mechanism throughout the world which can address global issues in a global way, like COVID. The COVID response was a global response monitored by WHO and the United Nations. Now, if some people want to step out of the frame, it's their choice. But it was a global response, and no single country can deal with it. So now the tsunamis come and all that sort of thing happens. The UN system responds to that. No other country can do it. So we need a framework of this nature at a very minimal cost to the world. We are talking about these issues. We are making people aware of these issues. The environmental climate change issue, we write treaties, everybody agrees. But the same countries go home and violate it. We can't chase them with a baton and beat them up. We can't. UN doesn't have that power. The UN principle is based on sovereignty. So those countries retain their independent sovereignty, within which they should abide by the UN Charter. They're sword by the UN Charter, but they don't.